So today we're going to be looking at our talent module. Right now, I am logged in as an administrator, so you will be able to see everything that the module has to offer, as well as sort of a quick glimpse of how to set it up. However, just know that on the employee side and the manager side, their view will be a lot limited. As a matter of fact, from the employee side, they won't even have access to the talent module at all. Everything related to their talent, whether it be a qualification or a training, will simply be added into staff in their profile. And I will show that really quickly at the end where you can find that. So when you log in as an administrator, the first thing you'll be able to see is your overview, and it will show you any qualifications that need attending. For instance, things that maybe are scheduled to have started and haven't started yet, any qualifications that are in progress, so on and so forth. And to get this information, you do first need to set all of this up. So this is the kind of things that you can keep track of in Talent. First, you have your certifications, which could be anything from, a governmental certification or something like a CPR certificate that someone in the office needs to have. It could be really, really anything that may or may not expire, and you need to keep track of who has it and who's due to have that renewed. So you can create your different categories of certification types, and then the actual certification here that's going to be placed in the different categories. And once this is created, you can assign this certification to your employees. Another one is licenses. So licenses, very important if you have an organization that deals with driver's license or forklift operators. Oftentimes, these things do need licenses. If you're a restaurant owner, you need to keep your liquor licenses perhaps up to date. You might assign that to your manager. So anytime either the business or an employee has any kind of licenses that may or may not expire and that need to be maintained, you can go ahead and keep track of that in here. You can also keep track of accreditations. So any kind of, maybe a background check or anything that you want to add in that might not fit in the other categories, you can put in here. And then the most commonly used one is obviously training. So most organizations, as we know, have some kind of training, process, especially during the onboarding. You can go ahead and create those different types of trainings here, and then we're going to add in what that training entails here on the side. So as you can see, they're all pretty much looking the same. However, when you add it in, that's when you're really going to put in the information. If there's anything here that you don't use, for instance, you're not going to use accreditation or you're not going to use, let's say, licenses, you can always just disable it and only keep the ones that you're using active. So let's go ahead and create a training. So to create a training is super simple. You're going to start off with the training name. So let's call this one the 2025 security protocols, let's say. So that is something that could happen. Code. So this is not mandatory, but let's say wherever they're going to be receiving this training, that training has a code number, you could put that in. You can put in a brief description like online training or what exactly this training is going to encompass. You can then put it in a category. So I'm going to put it in the IT security type. Here's where you would put the URL. So in this situation, this is an online training. So I'm going to put in the website where they're going to have to go to complete that training. And I'm going to say that this can be done in 2 hours. Does it expire? So let's say it does. It could not, but if it does, you could say, okay, because this is the 2025 one, it's going to expire 12 months from now. So next year they have to redo it. And I suppose at that point it would be the 2026 one. So we'll say 12 months. And, do we want to allow it to be renewed or not? Is there a prerequisite? So for instance, we might say, yes, there is a prerequisite. They need to do this one first before they can do this one. You can upload documentation or even provide, a link of documentation or maybe training material. Proof of completion. So normally we're going to leave this on, right? We want to see proof of completion. However, maybe it's internal, maybe it's a website that they complete this and you guys already get notified when the training's complete, so you might not need that. And is it mandatory? Yes or no? And add. So once I've added that in, I can then go ahead and assign this to my employees for them to complete this training. And once they're done, they can upload that proof and we'd be able to keep track of it. To be able to allow your employees to add or remove trainings, this is something that you can enable here. So do you want managers to be able to assign trainings to the people that they manage? Normally, we would say yes. And do you want employees to be able to move to the second? So if, for instance, I have someone who's doing module 1 and they complete it, do they have to wait for a manager to assign them module 2, or can they go ahead and assign it to themselves? If you want a manager to do it, you would just unclick this and make sure that only managers can go ahead and assign any other subsequent trainings to the user. So now that we've completed our setup, we can now come into Manage Qualifications and sort of see an overview of what's in progress, what's completed, what is still currently valid, what maybe is expired, expires soon, and so on and so forth. You can also keep track through reporting of qualifications. For example, we can look at who has what. So here we see that Olivia has these trainings. This one is complete. This one is still valid. This one hasn't been started yet. This one's in progress. So this is just a report you can run to kind of filter through your staff and see what they've completed, what is still valid, what still needs to be done. Talent profiles. So this is going to go with the talents here, where you can include different types of education, different languages that they maybe speak. Maybe they're a member of something, like I would assume, for instance, as a lawyer, they're part of, some kind of association or things like that. You could include that here, and any kind of recognitions maybe that they may have received either internally or externally, you can add that in here. So once you've added all of these different types, you can go ahead and assign them to your users. And if you want to look up, for instance, in your reporting, well, we have a position that's opening up and they need to be able to speak a certain language. Well, you can then filter through it to see, okay, well, who speaks Spanish in my organization? Oh, well, I see that these 3 people speak Spanish. So I know that they may be a good fit for that new position that requires this prerequisite. So it's just a nice way to be able to filter through your staff and see who has what without having to go back and looking at their CDs one by one. So once all this is set up and you want to start assigning, trainings and things like that, I mentioned that we're going to do that in staff. So I'm going to go ahead and start training someone in one of the trainings that we have set up. So we're going to pick this user right here, and I'm going to go here to qualifications, and I'm going to assign a training to this person, and I'm going to assign this training right here. And as you can see, I am unable to assign the new one that we created because there is a prerequisite, right? It says that he has not completed this module, the security awareness training, and he can only get this assigned once this is completed. So I'm assigning him this. It hasn't started yet. I want this to be completed by the end of the month. Let's say the start date will be on Monday, and I want this by the end of the month, and assign. So now this is assigned to him. He's going to get a notification. He's going to go in there and, start that training. He can then even send status reports. I need more time, or, I'm going to be finishing this early, whatever it is. And then once he's done, he can come in, or you can come in, or his manager can come in and say, hey, this person has completed this training. He completed it on this day. This is that proof of completion that I'm going to upload in there, and that's going to be archived in his qualifications tab. You can also see his talents. So when we're talking about what education they have, what languages they may speak, and so on and so forth, you'll be able to assign that in here. So 2 places that you can do it. You can either assign an update through staff, or you can do it directly through talent. It's really up to you. However, on the user side, as I mentioned, they will only be seeing it through staff. Thankfully, talent is not an overly complicated module to learn. It's very straightforward, but it can save you a lot of headaches when it comes to keeping track of these very, very important trainings and licenses that could cause you a lot more problems down the line if not completed. And with that said, this is going to be it for this video. And if you have any questions, you know where to find us, support@purelyhr.com, and we look forward to speaking with you.